Stop. Do not analyze the feeling. Do not talk to the feeling. Kill the loop. Right now, your system is overheating. You are stuck in a feedback loop of phantom danger, spinning stories that do not exist. You are looking for a way out, but you are looking in the wrong place. You cannot think your way out of a broken thought pattern. You have to manually cut the power. You are not the anxiety. You are the operator, and the operator has a choice. This is your emergency protocol. This is how you find the switch, and this is how you pull it. Chapter 1. Diagnose the glitch. Don't feed it. Let's get one thing straight immediately. You are not crazy. You are not broken, and you are not weak. If you are listening to this, you have spent years, maybe decades, believing that your anxiety is a character flaw. You believe it is a sign of your inability to cope with the world. You look at other people walking calmly through life, and you wonder what is wrong with you. You wonder why you are so fragile. Stop that line of thinking right now. It is useless, it is inaccurate, and it is keeping you sick. Anxiety is not a character flaw. It is a mechanical error. It is a biological stutter. It is a glitch. You need to strip away the emotion and look at the mechanics. Inside your brain, there is a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Its job is simple: detect threats. It is ancient hardware. It was designed for a world of predators, famine, and physical violence. It was designed to keep you alive in a jungle. But you do not live in a jungle. You live in a world of emails, text messages, traffic jams, and awkward social interactions. The problem is not you. The problem is that your hardware hasn't received a software update in 10,000 years. When you receive a stressful email, your amygdala cannot tell the difference between that email and a tiger in the bushes. It pulls the fire alarm. It dumps cortisol and adrenaline into your blood. It screams danger at full volume. This is a false positive. This is a system malfunction. When a smoke detector goes off because you burned toast, do you assume the house is burning down? No. You know it's a false alarm. You wave a towel at it. You open a window. You do not panic. You diagnose the glitch. But when your body pulls the fire alarm, you believe the house is burning. You believe the feeling. You trust the fear. That is your first mistake. You are trusting a broken sensor. You must stop identifying with the signal. You are not the signal. You are the one hearing the signal. This distinction is everything. This is the foundation of the override switch. The feeling in your chest, that is not doom. That is cortisol. The racing thoughts, that is not insight. That is adrenaline. The urge to run, that is not intuition. That is a glitch. Diagnose the glitch. Do not feed it. Here is where most people fail. This is the trap you have fallen into 1,000 times. The alarm goes off. You feel the spike of fear, and immediately you try to solve it. You try to figure out why you are anxious. You start a debate with your own mind. Your mind says, "What if I lose my job?" You answer, "I won't lose my job. I work hard." Your mind counters, "But you made a mistake last week." You answer, "Everyone makes mistakes." Your mind screams, "But they looked at you weirdly in the meeting." Do you see what is happening here? You are engaging. You are debating. You are treating the anxiety like a rational person that you can reason with. You cannot reason with a glitch. You cannot negotiate with a chemical dump. Every time you answer an anxious thought with a logical counterargument, you are making it worse. You are validating the threat. By taking the time to argue with the fear, you are telling your amygdala, "Yes, this is important. This threat is real enough to debate. Keep sending more adrenaline. Keep me alert." Engagement is fuel. Logic is fuel. Reasoning is fuel. You are pouring gasoline on a grease fire and wondering why it won't go out. You are trying to think your way out of a problem that was not created by thinking. It was created by a mechanical error. You have a choice. You always have a choice. When the loop starts, you have two options. Option A, you engage, you worry, you analyze, you feed the glitch. Option B, you observe. Observation is the antidote. This is the only way out. When the glitch fires, you must do the hardest thing in the world, nothing. You must refuse to pick up the rope. You must refuse to enter the debate. Imagine your anxiety is a screaming toddler having a tantrum in the supermarket. If you scream back at the toddler, they scream louder. If you try to reason with the toddler, they scream louder. If you beg the toddler to stop, they scream louder. But if you stand there, calm, silent, and simply watch them without reacting, eventually they run out of energy. They see that their tantrum has no effect on you. You must treat your amygdala like that toddler. When the thought comes, I'm going to have a heart attack, I'm going to humiliate myself, something bad is coming, you do not answer. You do not check your pulse. You do not reassure yourself. You say to yourself, I notice my system is overheating. I notice a glitch in the amygdala. I am observing a sensation of fear. And then you stop. You do not judge it. You do not try to make it go away. You simply watch it. Observation is the antidote. Do not engage, do not debate, simply observe the glitch. This requires discipline. It requires you to be tougher than your feelings. It requires you to value your sanity more than your comfort. The glitch wants a reaction. It is begging for your attention. It creates scary movies in your mind to get you to react. It will show you visions of failure, of death, of embarrassment. It is fishing for a response. Do not bite the hook. If you stare at the glitch without fear, it loses its power. A ghost is only scary if you believe it can hurt you. Once you turn on the lights and see it as just a sheet, the fear vanishes. Observation is turning on the lights. Let's look at a real-world example. You are about to walk into a social gathering. Your chest tightens, your hands sweat. The thought comes, everyone is going to judge me. The old you would start fixing it. You would check your phone. You would rehearse what you were going to say. You would scan the room for threats. You would feed the beast. The new you, the you that holds the override switch, does something different. You feel the chest tighten. You say, ah, there's the glitch. My ancient hardware thinks this party is a tiger. Interesting. You feel the urge to run. You say, I notice a high level of adrenaline. I am not in danger. I am just chemically stimulated. You walk into the room. You bring the sensation with you. You don't try to hide it. You don't try to fix it. You let the alarm ring, but you do not call the fire department. You let the glitch glitch. Observation is the antidote. Do not engage, do not debate, simply observe the glitch. This is step one. You must separate yourself from the noise. You must realize there are two entities in your body, the biological machine that is scared and the conscious self that's in charge. You have identified the glitch. You have stopped feeding it. You have stopped pouring gasoline on the fire. Now you must take the next step. You must move from the passenger seat to the cockpit. You have diagnosed the glitch. Now it's time to take control of the console.
Chapter 2. You are the operator, not the machine. You have diagnosed the glitch. You know that the alarm ringing in your head is a false positive, but knowing isn't enough. Now you need to change your position. You need to change where you are standing inside your own head. Right now, you are making a fundamental error of identity. You think you are the anxiety. You say things like, I am anxious, I am panicked, I am afraid. Stop saying that. Stop using the word I to describe a mechanical process. When you say I am anxious, you are claiming the malfunction as your identity. You are merging with the glitch. You are locking yourself inside the burning building. You need to step outside. This chapter is about disidentification. It is about driving a wedge between you, the conscious self, and it, the biological machine you inhabit. You are not your body. You are not your brain. You are not your thoughts. You are the operator. The body and the brain are just the machine. Think about a pilot in a fighter jet. The jet is a complex piece of machinery. It has sensors, radar, engines, and fuel lines. The pilot sits in the cockpit. If the jet's radar detects a missile, a red light flashes on the dashboard. A siren wails. The jet shudders. Does the pilot scream, "I am a flashing red light"? Does the pilot scream, "I am a siren"? No. The pilot looks at the dashboard and says, "The machine is reporting a missile lock." The pilot remains separate from the jet. The pilot is the operator. The jet is the machine. You are the operator, not the machine. Your body is a biomachine. It has millions of years of programming designed to keep you alive. When it senses stress, it dumps adrenaline. It increases heart rate. It dilates your pupils. It creates racing thoughts to simulate danger scenarios. That is the dashboard flashing red. That is the siren wailing. But you are the consciousness sitting behind the eyes. You are the one listening to this voice right now. You are the silent observer. When your heart starts pounding in your chest, that is not fear. That is a tachometer revving up. That is a dashboard light blinking. It is data. It is information. It is not you. You have a choice. You can merge with the machine and scream, or you can sit back in the seat and read the gauges. I am the one watching. I am not the screen. I am the one watching. Visualize this. Close your eyes for a second if you have to. Imagine you are sitting in a high-tech control room. It is cool, dark, and silent. You are sitting in a comfortable leather chair. In front of you is a massive glass wall looking out at a giant screen. That screen is your mind. When anxiety hits, the screen goes chaotic. It flashes images of disaster. It plays loud, distorted audio of your insecurities. It shows you failing, dying, being rejected. The speakers in the wall are blasting warnings, danger, danger, system failure. Most people stand up, run to the screen, press their face against the glass, and start screaming along with the movie. They get lost in the noise. But you stay in the chair. You lean back. You look at the flashing red lights. You hear the alarms. But you are not the alarms. You are the one sitting in the quiet chair watching the show. You say, "Look at that. The screen is going crazy today. The system is really overheating." You do not judge it. You do not fear it. You realize that nothing on that screen can touch you in the chair. The screen is just pixels. The thoughts are just electrical impulses. They are not solid. They are not real. I am the one watching. I am not the screen. I am the one watching. This is the view from above. It is the ultimate power move.
When you are stuck in traffic and the rage starts to build, catch yourself. Who is angry? The machine is angry. The machine's territorial instincts are flared up. But the operator? The operator is just sitting there, observing the chemical reaction of anger. When you are about to give a presentation and your hands start shaking, catch yourself. Who is shaking? The machine is shaking. It is releasing excess energy. But the operator is steady. That's the key. You must objectify the sensation. Turn my fear into the fear. Turn my racing heart into the racing heart. This sounds like a linguistic trick, but it is a neurological rewire. By changing the language, you break the emotional circuit. You create distance, and in that distance, you find control. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. The machine will always seek comfort. The machine wants to run away, hide, and avoid pain. If you let the machine drive, you will live a small, terrified life. The operator has a mission. The operator has goals that are bigger than comfort. Sometimes the operator has to drive the machine into the fire. Sometimes the operator has to force the machine to speak up when it wants to stay silent. Sometimes the operator has to force the machine to work when it wants to sleep. The machine will kick and scream. It will flash every warning light it has. It will try to hijack the controls. You don't need its permission. You do not need your anxiety's permission to live your life. You do not need the machine to feel good before you take action. The machine can be terrified, shaking, and flashing red, and you, the operator, can still push the throttle forward. You can act while feeling the fear. You can speak while your voice shakes. The machine screams, "Don't do it, we will die." The operator says, "Note it, we are doing it anyway." This is the dynamic you must cultivate. You are the boss. The mind is the employee. Right now, the employee is running the company and driving it into the ground. It is time to fire the employee and take back the CEO chair. Let's look at the cost of failing to do this. If you believe you are the machine, every fluctuation in your mood becomes an existential crisis. If you wake up sad, you think, "I am a depressed person." If you wake up anxious, you think, "I am a broken person." You ride the roller coaster of your biochemistry up and down, day after day, exhausted and helpless. But if you are the operator, a bad mood is just bad weather. You look out the window and say, "It's raining today. I'll bring an umbrella." You don't take it personally. You don't let the weather dictate your destination. You just adjust the controls and keep moving. I am the one watching. I am not the screen. I am the one watching. Practice this immediately. The next time you feel a strong emotion, anger, lust, fear, sadness, pause. Don't say, "I am angry." Say, "I notice that the machine is experiencing anger." Don't say, "I am nervous." Say, "I notice the machine's heart rate has elevated." Feel how that changes the weight of the moment? It lightens the load instantly. It puts you back in the driver's seat. This is the discipline of the operator. It requires constant vigilance. The machine is sneaky. It wants you to pull you back into the screen. It wants you to get lost in the movie. It will whisper convincing lies to get you to identify with it. It will say, "No, this time it's real. This time you really are in danger." It will say, "You can't handle this." Do not debate. Remember chapter 1. Do not engage. Just lean back in your chair, look at the screen, and remember who is watching. The machine is loud. The operator is silent. The machine is chaotic. The operator is order. The machine is temporary. The operator is constant. You have a choice. Every single second, you are choosing your identity. Are you the flesh and blood responding to stimuli like a lab rat, or are you the conscious will that transcends biology? Choose the operator every time. When the panic rises, visualize the control room. Put the glass wall between you and the feeling. Watch the red lights flash. Watch the needles jump. And stay in the chair. I am the one watching. I am not the screen. I am the one watching. You have diagnosed the glitch. You have separated your identity from the machine. You are now sitting in the command chair looking at the dashboard. You are ready. But being in the chair is not enough. The alarms are still ringing. The red lights are still blinding. You have regained your authority, but you haven't stopped the noise yet. You need to clear the system. You need to reset the sensors. You need a manual override. You need a physical protocol to cut the power to the loop before it spins out of control. You know who you are. Now you need to know what to do. You have the position. Now you need the weapon.
Chapter 3. The 3-second Sever Protocol. You are the operator. You are sitting in the chair. You are watching the screen. But now we have a problem of speed. The machine you are operating is fast, incredibly fast. Anxiety moves at the speed of electricity. It travels through your nervous system at hundreds of miles per hour. It does not wait for you to be ready. It does not ask for permission. It strikes. Most people lose the battle before they even know they are fighting. They wait too long. They feel the spark and they let it burn. They let the thought linger. They let the what if expand. By the time they realize they are panicking, it is too late. The forest is already on fire. You cannot fight a forest fire with a cup of water. You have to stomp out the spark. This brings us to the most critical tactical rule in this entire book. It is a rule of timing. It is a rule of physics. The 3-second rule. You have exactly 3 seconds from the moment a negative loop triggers to stop it. 3 seconds. That is your window. That is your margin of error. Here is the biology behind it. When a trigger hits, a rude comment, a scary thought, a weird pain in your chest, your brain sends a signal to the adrenal glands. But that signal is not instantaneous. There is a tiny, microscopic gap. There is a delay between the thought of danger and the chemical dump of danger. If you catch the loop within the first 3 seconds, you are dealing with a mental spark. It is just a thought. It is weak. It is manageable. But if you wait longer than 3 seconds, the signal hits the glands. Your body dumps cortisol. It dumps adrenaline. It floods your bloodstream with high-octane stress hormones. Once that chemical dump happens, the window is closed. You cannot think the chemicals back into the gland. You cannot reason the adrenaline away. You have to ride the wave until your liver metabolizes it, which can take 20 minutes or more. Most of you are trying to stop the anxiety after the chemicals have dumped. That is why you are failing. You are trying to close the floodgates after the dam has already burst. You must act before the dump. Catch it early, kill it fast, sever the connection. This is the protocol. The moment you feel the glitch, the moment the chest tightens or the thought spirals, you must deploy a physical interrupt. We call this the override switch. It is not a mental trick, it is a physical action. The mind is compromised, you cannot trust the mind to fix the mind. You must use the body to jar the system. Here's the technique. It is stupidly simple, and that is why it works. When the loop starts, you count 3, 2, 1, and then you execute a physical snap. It can be a loud snap of your fingers. It can be a sharp clap of your hands. It can be a hard slap on your own thigh. It can be a sudden, sharp inhale through the nose. It must be physical. It must be sharp. It must be immediate. This physical shock sends a pattern interrupt signal to the brain. It distracts the amygdala just long enough to cut the wire before the bomb goes off. It breaks the trance. Let's walk through a simulation. You are sitting at your desk. You receive an email from your boss that says, "We need to talk." Second 1, the fear spikes. The story begins, "I'm getting fired." Second 2, the operator sees the red light. The operator recognizes the glitch. Second 3, snap. You snap your fingers hard. The sound cuts through the noise. The physical sensation on your skin grounds you. You take a deep breath. You have severed the connection. You have stopped the signal from reaching the adrenal glands. You have prevented the chemical dump. Now you can read the email with a clear head. You are still the operator. You are not shaking. You are not spiraling. You are in control. But if you had waited, if you sat there staring at the email for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, now your heart is hammering. Now your hands are sweating. Now you are dizzy. You missed the window. You let the spark become a fire. Catch it early, kill it fast, sever the connection. This requires aggressive vigilance. You have to be watching the dashboard constantly. You cannot be asleep at the wheel. You might be thinking, I can't just snap my fingers in a meeting. I can't clap my hands on a date. People will think I'm weird. You have a choice. You can be weird for 1 second, or you can be miserable for 3 hours. Which one do you want?
And honestly, you don't need their permission. You don't need to explain yourself. If you are in public, you can modify the switch. Use a rubber band on your wrist and snap it against your skin. Dig your fingernail into your thumb. Bite your tongue. It doesn't matter what the physical trigger is. It matters that it is physical, and it matters that it happens within 3 seconds. That's the key. Speed over precision. Action over analysis. Do not try to argue with the thought. Do not try to positive think the thought away. Just kill the loop. Imagine you're a security guard watching a monitor. You see an intruder trying to cut the fence. Do you sit there and wonder about the intruder's childhood? Do you wonder why he chose this fence? Do you debate whether he is a nice guy? No, you cut the feed. You sound the alarm. You stop the breach. Catch it early, kill it fast, sever the connection. This is not about being calm. This is about being fast. It's not about personality. It's about discipline. It takes discipline to stop a thought process that you have been addicted to for years. You are addicted to the worry. Your brain likes the loop because it feels familiar. Breaking it feels jarring. Good, it should feel jarring. You are rewiring a neural pathway. Every time you snap your fingers and stop the spiral, you're essentially pouring concrete over the old road. You are telling your brain, we do not go down this path anymore. This road is closed. If you do this once, it helps. If you do this 10 times a day for a month, you change your brain structure. You will notice something amazing happen after a few weeks. The loops will start to get shorter. The space between the trigger and the reaction will get wider. You will have more time. 3 seconds will feel like 3 minutes because you are the operator. You are faster than the machine. But what if you miss the window? What if you were too slow and the chemicals dump and you find yourself in the middle of a panic attack? Do not beat yourself up. That is just another loop. That is just another glitch. If you miss the window, you accept the chemicals. You say, okay, I missed the cut. Now I have to ride the wave. You do not fight the chemicals once they are there. You let them burn off. But you make a vow to yourself. Next time, I will be faster. You need to practice this when you are not anxious. Practice the snap. Practice the clap. Associate that physical sound with the command, stop. Build the reflex. When you are scrolling social media and you see something that makes you jealous, snap, sever the connection. When you are lying in bed and your brain starts replaying a mistake from 2012, snap, sever the connection. When you look in the mirror and start critiquing your body, snap, sever the connection. Do not let parasite feed. Do not give it a single inch. Catch it early, kill it fast, sever the connection. You are training a wild animal. The animal is your amygdala. It needs to know who is in charge. It needs to know that every time it tries to run off the leash, it gets a sharp correction. Eventually, it learns to walk by your side. But you must be consistent. You cannot do this sometimes. You cannot do this only when it is convenient. You must be ruthless. Every single loop must be severed, no exceptions. You are building a firewall. The first few days will be exhausting. You might have to snap your fingers 50 times a day. You might feel like you are fighting a swarm of bees. Keep fighting. Because on the other side of that fight is silence. On the other side is a mind that obeys you. On the other side is the freedom you have been begging for. You have a choice. You can let the machine run you, or you can run the machine. You can be slow, or you can be free. Hit the switch. 3 seconds. No hesitation. Now, you have the technique. You know how to stop the loop. You know how to sever the connection. But once you stop the story, you are left with something else. You are left with a raw, buzzing energy in your body. You have stopped the thoughts, but the engine is still revving. You cannot just leave that energy there. It will rot. It will turn into tension. It needs to go somewhere. You have stripped away the lie. Now you must deal with the sensation that remains.
Chapter 4. Starve the story, feed the sensation. You have pulled the switch. You have severed the connection. You have interrupted the loop. But now you are facing a new enemy. The enemy is silence. When you cut the wire on an anxiety loop, you create a vacuum. The brain hates a vacuum. The brain is a meaning-making machine. It demands to know why you feel this way. It feels the residual adrenaline in your blood, and it frantically searches for a reason to justify it. This is the narrative trap. Your body offers a sensation, a tight chest, a knot in the stomach, a shallow breath. Your brain instantly attaches a story to it. The sensation is raw data. The story is a fabrication. The sensation says there is high energy in the solar plexus. The story says something terrible is about to happen to my family. The sensation says the heart rate is elevated. The story says I'm going to fail this presentation and lose my career. Do you see the difference? The sensation is real. The story is fiction.
The story is the fuel that keeps the fire burning. If you just had the physical sensation without the story, it would be uncomfortable, but it would not be a crisis. It would just be indigestion or excitement. But once you attach the story, once you attach the what if, you turn a physical feeling into an existential threat. Drop the story, feel the energy. The story is a lie. This is the hardest discipline you will ever learn. You must learn to separate the physical feeling from the mental explanation. Most of you are addicted to the story. You think the story protects you. You think if you figure out the story, you can solve the anxiety. You sit there and ruminate. Why do I feel like this? Is it because of what she said? Is it because I'm not good enough? Stop it. You are digging a hole and calling it climbing. You have a choice. You can analyze the lie, or you can experience the truth. The truth is the sensation. Here is the protocol. Somatic anchoring. When the anxiety hits and you've snapped your fingers to break the loop, your brain will try to launch a narrative. It will try to pull you into the future or the past. You must command your attention to go into the body. Where is the feeling? Don't say, in my head. Find it in the torso. Is it a band of steel around your chest? Is it a burning ball of lead in your stomach? Is it a constriction in your throat? Find the epicenter of the physical energy and then do something radical. Stare at it. Focus 100% of your mental energy on the physical knot. Don't try to relax it. Don't try to breathe it away. Don't try to heal it. Just look at it. Describe it to yourself using only physical terms. It feels hot. It feels heavy. It is pulsing. It is the size of a tennis ball. Notice what happens when you do this. The moment you strip away the story, the moment you stop saying, I am scared, and start saying, my chest is tight, the anxiety loses its teeth. It stops being a monster in the closet. It becomes a sensation in the body. That's the key. A monster can kill you. A sensation is just biology. You must starve the story to feed the sensation. Every time your mind tries to whisper a catastrophic prediction, you slam the door and go back to the body. I don't care about the prediction. I am feeling the heat in my stomach. I don't care about the what if. I am observing the pulse in my neck. Drop the story, feel the energy. The story is a lie. This takes courage. It feels counterintuitive. Your instinct is to run away from the feeling. You want to distract yourself. You want to scroll through your phone. You want to call a friend and vent. Do not vent. Venting is just rehearsing the story. Venting is feeding the glitch. You must sit in the fire. You must let the sensation exist without trying to fix it. There's a rule in physics. Energy that is observed changes form.
If you run from the sensation, it chases you. It grows. It gets louder because it wants to be heard. But if you turn around, face it, and give it your full, undivided attention, it begins to dissolve. It peaks, it crests, and then it breaks. It has no choice. Adrenaline has a half-life. It cannot last forever unless you keep re-injecting it with new scary stories. If you cut the story, the fuel line is severed. The fire must go out. But you have to hold the line. You have to sit there feeling like you are going to explode and refuse to blink. It's not about comfort, it's about discipline. The discipline to say, this feeling is unpleasant, but it is not dangerous. I will not label it. I will not narrate it. I will just feel it. Let's look at a real-world scenario. You were lying in bed at 2 a.m. You wake up with a jolt. Your heart is racing. The narrative trap kicks in immediately. I forgot to send that email. My boss is going to be furious. I'm going to get fired. I'll lose the house. The old you would lie there for 3 hours spinning that story, feeding the anxiety until you are sick. The operator does not do that. The operator feels the jolt. Snap. Chapter 3. The operator cuts the story. No, we are not doing the fired story tonight. The operator scans the body. Where's the energy? It's in the solar plexus. It feels like a clenched fist. The operator feeds the sensation. You lie there and put all your focus on the clenched fist. You breathe into it. You watch it. You say, okay, show me what you've got. Be tight. Be hot. I'm watching. You stay with the raw physical data. Within 10 minutes, the clenched fist relaxes. The adrenaline metabolizes. You fall back asleep. Why? Because you didn't feed the fire with a story. Drop the story, feel the energy. The story is a lie. You need to understand that your brain is a drama queen. It creates conflict because it thinks conflict keeps you safe. It thinks if it scares you enough, you will prepare for disaster. But you don't need to prepare for disasters that aren't happening. You don't need their permission. You don't need the permission of your thoughts to find peace. You can bypass the thoughts entirely and go straight to the hardware. The sensation is finite. The story is infinite. If you follow the story, you can worry forever. There is no end to the what-ifs. But if you follow the sensation, it has an end. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. If you stay with it, you will see it fade. This is the ultimate act of self-control. To sit in the middle of a storm and refuse to acknowledge the thunder, focusing only on the rain on your skin. Practice this today. The next time you feel a pang of annoyance or fear or stress, stop the dialogue, zip your lip. Close your eyes, point to where it hurts, and stare at it until it changes. It will change. It always changes. You are proving to your nervous system that you are safe. When you run away, you confirm the danger. When you stand and stare, you confirm your safety. You're teaching the beast that it cannot scare you. Drop the story, feel the energy. The story is a lie. You have learned to cut the loop. You have learned to ignore the lie. You have learned to sit with the sensation. But sometimes the sensation is too big. Sometimes the adrenaline dump is massive. You are sitting there staring at it, but your legs are twitching. Your heart is pounding out of your chest. The energy is too high to just observe. The container is overflowing. You cannot just sit with it. You have to burn it off. The body thinks it is fighting a tiger. Observing the tiger is good, but sometimes you need to run. You need to use the fuel for what it was designed for. You need to move. Chapter 5. Motion kills emotion. You have learned to observe the glitch. You have learned to sever the loop. You have learned to stare at the sensation. But let's be honest. Sometimes the sensation is too strong. Sometimes the chemical dump is so massive that sitting with it feels like trying to hold back a tidal wave with a screen door. Your legs are bouncing. Your chest is vibrating. You feel like you want to jump out of your own skin. You are not just anxious, you are electrically charged. In this state, sitting still is not just difficult, it is dangerous. When you sit still while your body is flooded with adrenaline, you are sending a specific signal to your brain. You are telling your brain, I am frozen, the predator is looking at me, I am trapped. In the wild, there are 3 responses to danger: fight, flight, or freeze. Anxiety triggers the preparation for fight or flight. Your body dumps sugar into your blood for energy. It pumps up your muscles. It sharpens your vision. It creates a massive surplus of kinetic potential. It expects you to punch a wolf or run up a tree. But what do? You sit on the couch. You stare at your phone. You lay in bed curled in a ball. You choose freeze. And because you are not moving, your brain assumes the danger is still present. It assumes the predator is still standing right over you. So it keeps pumping the adrenaline. It keeps the alarm ringing. You are trapping the energy inside the machine, and the pressure is building. Move the body to change the mind. Stagnation is death. Motion is rescue. This is the biological reset. You cannot think your way out of a chemical flood. You have to burn it out. You have to use the fuel for what it was designed for. If your body thinks it is running from a tiger, you need to run. Not in your mind, in reality. When you are deep in a high anxiety loop, your problem is not emotional. Your problem is mechanical. You have excess fuel in the tank and the engine is redlining in neutral. You need to put the car in gear and drive until the tank is empty. That's the key. You must trick your nervous system. You must prove to your amygdala that you have escaped the danger. How do you prove you escaped? By moving fast. If you were truly trapped by a predator, you wouldn't be sprinting. You would be dead or hiding. Therefore, if you were sprinting, you must be safe. Sprinting sends the all-clear signal to the ancient brain. This leads us to the sprint protocol. This is not exercise. This is not a workout. I don't care about your fitness goals. I don't care about your cardio. This is a medical procedure. When the panic hits, when the Sever protocol isn't enough, you must explode into motion. You need high-intensity anaerobic bursts. A slow jog won't do it. A gentle walk won't do it. You need to simulate a life-or-death struggle. You have a choice. You can sit there and shake, or you can get up and sprint. Here is the prescription. Go outside, find a stretch of pavement, and run as fast as you humanly can for 60 seconds. I mean sprint. Lungs burning, legs pumping, heart hammering. Run until you cannot run anymore. Then stop, put your hands on your knees, gasp for air. Do you know what you won't be thinking about in that moment? You won't be thinking about your email. You won't be thinking about your awkward social interaction. You won't be thinking about the future. Your brain will be forced to focus on survival. I need oxygen. You have successfully hijacked the system. You have burned off the excess cortisol. You have used the sugar in your blood. You have forced the reset. Move the body to change the mind. Stagnation is death. Motion is rescue.
I can hear the excuses already. The machine is whispering to you right now, but I'm at work, but I'm in a suit, but it's raining, but I'm tired. Let's address the tired lie first. Depression makes you tired. Anxiety makes you wired. But sometimes anxiety masquerades as fatigue. You feel heavy. You feel paralyzed. This is the freeze response. It is a lie. Underneath that heaviness is a nuclear reactor of energy. You don't need their permission to access it. You have to force the ignition. The first 3 steps will feel like you are wading through mud. By the 10th step, the energy will unlock. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline. The operator does not wait to feel like running. The operator sees the red line on the dashboard and hits the purge button. Now, what if you are in an office? What if you are on a plane? What if you literally cannot sprint down the street? Improvise. Find a stairwell. Run up and down 2 flights of stairs for 2 minutes. Find a bathroom stall. Do 20 rapid push-ups. Do 50 jumping jacks. Pace the hallway aggressively. The form doesn't matter. The intensity matters. You need to elevate your heart rate voluntarily to override the involuntary spike. When you choose to elevate your heart rate, you regain control. When the anxiety elevates it for you, you are a victim. When you elevate it by doing push-ups, you are the master. Move the body to change the mind. Stagnation is death. Motion is rescue. Think about a dog. Have you ever seen a dog get into a fight or get scared? What do they do immediately after the event is over? They shake. They physically shake their entire body from nose to tail. They are literally shaking off the adrenaline. They are resetting their nervous system. Then they walk away like nothing happened. Humans have forgotten how to shake. We hold it in. We sit in our office chairs, stiff as boards, holding all that toxic energy in our shoulders and our stomachs. We let it rot us from the inside out. Be more like the dog. Shake it off. If you can't run, stand up and shake your hands. Bounce on your heels. Shadow box. Punch the air. Do something violent. Anxiety is a violent energy. It requires a violent solution. You cannot soothe a panic attack with a cup of tea every time. Sometimes you have to punch it in the face. That's the key. Match the intensity of the cure to the intensity of the disease. If your anxiety is a level 2, breathe. If your anxiety is a level 10, sprint. Do not try to meditate your way out of a tiger attack. Run. Move the body to change the mind. Stagnation is death. Motion is rescue. You have burned the cortisol.
You have sprinted until your lungs hurt. You have broken the paralysis. The fire is out, but the system is still hot. You are sweating, panting, and your heart is still pounding, but now it's pounding for the right reason. Now we need to cool the engine. We need to force the heart rate back down to baseline instantly. We have used fire to fight fire. Now we use ice. You have mastered the heat. Now you must master the cold. Chapter 6. The Cold Water Reset. You have sprinted. You have moved the body. You have burned off the excess cortisol. But sometimes the machine is still glitching. The engine is no longer redlining, but the software is frozen. Your thoughts are still spinning in a tight, toxic circle. You feel hot, flushed, and mentally stuck. You are like a computer that has too many windows open and has stopped responding to clicks. When a computer freezes, what do? Do you talk to it? Do you ask it nicely to start working again? Do you wait and hope it fixes itself? No. You reach behind the tower and you pull the plug. You force a hard reboot. You cut the power and turn it back on. You need to do the exact same thing to your nervous system. You cannot always reason with a racing heart. You cannot always meditate your way out of a panic spiral. Sometimes you need a physical shock to break the pattern. You need the cold. This is not a spa treatment. This is not about wellness. This is a tactical intervention. We are going to use a biological backdoor in your operating system called the mammalian dive reflex. This is ancient hardware. It is buried deep in your genetic code. It is a reflex shared by seals, dolphins, and whales. When a mammal's face is submerged in cold water while holding its breath, the body immediately shifts into preservation mode. The vagus nerve, the superhighway of your nervous system, sends an immediate, non-negotiable command to the heart: slow down. It constricts blood vessels in the extremities. It shunts blood to the vital organs. It forces the parasympathetic nervous system to take over. It doesn't matter if you are freaking out. It doesn't matter what you are thinking. If you hit this switch, your physiology must respond. It is a reflex, not a choice. Reset the system, shock the senses, force the calm. That's the key. You are using a physical sensation so intense that the anxiety cannot compete with it. Anxiety requires your attention to survive. Cold water steals that attention by force. Option A, the face plunge. This is for when you are at home, spiraling, and you need to kill the loop instantly. Get a large bowl. Fill it with cold water. Add ice cubes. It needs to be painfully cold. Take a deep breath and hold it. Submerge your entire face in the water. Cover your eyes, nose, and cheeks. Hold it there for 30 seconds. Do not pull out when it feels uncomfortable. Stay in. What happens? First, the shock. The cold hits the trigeminal nerve in your face. Then, the silence. Your heart rate will drop. It is a biological certainty. The doom loop will shatter because your brain is suddenly focused on a much more immediate reality: freezing water. You come up for air, you gasp, and you realize something. The noise is gone. The panic is gone. The spinning thoughts have stopped. You have successfully rebooted the computer. Reset the system, shock the senses, force the calm. That's the key. You are using a physical sensation so intense that the anxiety cannot compete with it. Anxiety requires your attention to survive. Cold water steals that attention by force. Option B, the cold shower. This is for the morning dread. This is for the days when you wake up and the machine is already running at 100 miles per hour. You walk into the bathroom, you turn the handle all the way to cold. The machine will scream at you. The machine hates the cold. It wants comfort. It wants warmth. It wants to stay in the loop of easy misery. You have a choice. You can step into the warm shower and stand there for 20 minutes, ruminating on your failures, crying and feeling sorry for yourself. Or you can step into the ice and shock yourself back to life. It's not about masochism. It's about discipline. It takes zero discipline to be warm. It takes massive discipline to step under freezing water when you don't want to. When you step in, your body will gasp. This is the gasp reflex. You will hyperventilate for a second. Control it. Force your breathing to slow down. Long exhale, long inhale. You are teaching the operator to stay calm under extreme stress. The water is the stress. The breathing is the control. If you can stand under freezing water and breathe calmly, you can handle a stressful email. You can handle a difficult conversation. You are callousing your mind. Reset the system, shock the senses, force the calm. Most people are weak. They are soft. They protect themselves from every jagged edge of life. They live in climate-controlled rooms, eating soft food, thinking soft thoughts, and they wonder why they shatter when life gets hard. You are building armor. The cold water washes away the fog. It tightens the skin. It wakes up the brain. It releases dopamine and norepinephrine, natural antidepressants that are far more powerful than your self-pity. You don't need their permission to feel good. You don't need the world to be nice to you. You don't need your problems to disappear. You just need to change your state. And you can change your state in 30 seconds with a faucet. There is a moment right before you turn the knob to cold where you hesitate, you flinch, you bargain. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too tired today. That voice, that is the voice of the anxiety. That is the voice of weakness. Kill that voice. Do not negotiate with terrorists. Turn the knob, step in. Reset the system, shock the senses, force the calm. When you step out of that shower, you are a different person than the one who stepped in. The person who stepped in was a victim. The person who steps out is a warrior. You are red, you are shivering, and you are alive. The trivial worries that felt so heavy 5 minutes ago, they seem ridiculous now. You have just survived a physical shock. Who cares if someone didn't like your Instagram post? You are breathing. This is the power of the hard reboot. You must stop treating your body like a delicate flower. Your body is an adaptation machine. It thrives on challenge. It rots in comfort. Anxiety is a disease of comfort. It is what happens when a survival machine has nothing to survive. So give it something to survive. Give it the cold. Use this tool. When the walls are closing in, bowl, ice, face, or shower, cold, step in. Do not think. Thinking is the enemy. Action is the cure. Reset the system, shock the senses, force the calm. When you step out of that shower, you are a different person than the one who stepped in. The person who stepped in was a victim. The person who steps out is a warrior. You are red, you are shivering, and you are alive. The trivial worries that felt so heavy 5 minutes ago, they seem ridiculous now. You have just survived a physical shock. Who cares if someone didn't like your Instagram post? You are breathing. This is the power of the hard reboot. You must stop treating your body like a delicate flower. Your body is an adaptation machine. It thrives on challenge. It rots in comfort. Anxiety is a disease of comfort. It is what happens when a survival machine has nothing to survive. So give it something to survive. Give it the cold. Use this tool. When the walls are closing in, bowl, ice, face, or shower, cold, step in. Do not think. Thinking is the enemy. Action is the cure. Reset the system, shock the senses, force the calm. You have diagnosed the glitch. You have severed the loop. You have burned the energy, and now you have rebooted the system with cold. You are now at baseline. The panic is gone. The heart rate is normal. The mind is clear. You are standing in the silence you have fought so hard to win. But the silence is dangerous if you don't know how to fill it. The old habits are waiting in the wings. The old questions are trying to creep back in. The biggest trap is about to open up beneath your feet. The trap of understanding. You want to ask why. You want to analyze the trauma. You want to solve the puzzle. Stop. That is the path back to hell. You don't need to know why the building was on fire. You just need to know how to rebuild it.
Chapter 7. Delete the why. Execute the how.
You are currently obsessed with the wrong question. If I looked at the search history of your mind during a panic attack or during a week of high anxiety, I would see the same search query running over and over again, thousands of times a day. Why? Why is this happening to me? Why can't I just be normal? Why is my heart racing right now? Why did I say that? Why do I feel so empty? You believe that if you answer the why, you will solve the problem. You believe that understanding the root cause is the key to unlocking the cage. You think you are being a detective. You are wrong. You are not being a detective. You are being a victim. Asking why during an anxiety loop is not problem solving, it is a delay tactic. It is a trap door that drops you straight back into the fire. When your house is burning down, do you stand on the front lawn and ask, why did the fire start? Was it the wiring? Was it a candle? Was it arson? If you do that, the house burns to the ground while you ponder the philosophy of combustion. The operator does not ask why. The operator asks how. How do I put this out? How do I get everyone out alive? The why does not matter. The how saves your life. Execute the protocol. This chapter is about surgery. We are going to lobotomize the part of your internal dialogue that is obsessed with the past and the reason. We are going to replace it with a relentless focus on mechanics and action. The problem with why is that it is infinite. You can ask why forever and never hit the bottom. Why am I anxious? Because I'm stressed. Why am I stressed? Because of work. Why does work stress me? Because I need validation. Why do I need validation? Because my father didn't hug me enough. Great. Now you know your father didn't hug you enough. You are still having a panic attack in the frozen food aisle. The insight did not fix the glitch. The archaeology of your pain does not stop the bleeding in the present moment. That's the key. Insight is not the same as regulation. Understanding the wound does not stitch it up. You have to stop treating your anxiety like a mystery novel and start treating it like a mechanical failure. If your car gets a flat tire on the highway, you don't sit by the side of the road crying and asking the tire why it betrayed you. You don't analyze the history of rubber. You get the jack, you take off the lug nuts, you put on the spare. You execute the how. You have a choice. You can be the philosopher of your own misery, or you can be the mechanic of your own rescue. From this moment forward, the word why is banned from your internal vocabulary during a spike. When you are at baseline, calm and collected, sure, go to therapy, analyze your childhood. But when the red lights are flashing, why is poison. The why does not matter. The how saves your life. Execute the protocol. Let's look at the tactical response. The moment you feel the override switch is needed, you must immediately shift your internal language to tactical commands. Your brain screams, "Why is this happening again?" You delete that thought. You replace it with, "How do I lower my heart rate?" Answer, "Exhale longer than I inhale." Your brain screams, "Why am I such a mess?" You delete that thought. You replace it with, "How do I ground myself?" Answer, "Feel my feet on the floor. Grip the steering wheel." Your brain screams, "Why does everyone hate me?" You delete that thought. You replace it with, "How do I finish this email?" Answer, "Type the first sentence." Do you see the difference? Why spins you in a circle. How moves you forward in a straight line. Why is emotional. How is mechanical. Why makes you smaller. How makes you effective. It's not about intelligence, it's about discipline.
In fact, intelligent people struggle with this the most. If you are smart, you are used to thinking your way out of problems. You trust your brain. You think if you just analyze the anxiety enough, you will outsmart it. You cannot outsmart a sensation. You can only regulate it. You need to become stupidly simple. You need to become a robot. The why does not matter. The how saves your life. Execute the protocol. Here is a real-world scenario. You're about to walk into a high-stakes meeting. The glitch starts, the heat rises, the loop begins. The amateur asks, why am I nervous? Is it because I'm an imposter? Is it because I'm not prepared? Why can't I be like John? He's never nervous. Result? You walk into the meeting sweating, distracted, and insecure. You validated the fear. The operator asks, how do I enter this room? Protocol. Shoulders back, chin up. How do I breathe? Protocol. Box breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. How do I speak? Protocol. Slow down, lower the pitch. Result? You walk in looking calm, even if the adrenaline is still there. You focused on the mechanics of the performance, not the philosophy of the fear. You don't need their permission. You don't need the permission of your feelings to act correctly. You can feel like a terrified child on the inside and execute the how of a confident leader on the outside. Eventually, the inside catches up to the outside, but it starts with the mechanics. This is the rule of behavioral override. Action dictates feeling. If you wait to figure out why you are scared before you act, you will wait forever. If you act despite the fear by focusing on how, the fear dissolves. The why does not matter. The how saves your life. Execute the protocol. I want you to catch yourself today. You are going to do it. You are going to fall into the trap. You are going to start spiraling into the why. Why is my life like this? Stop. Snap. Chapter 3. Cut it. Ask a better question. How do I make my life better in the next 10 minutes? Maybe the answer is wash the dishes. Maybe the answer is do 20 push-ups. Maybe the answer is write the list. The how is always small. The how is always actionable. The how is boring. And that's the key. Anxiety loves drama. Why is dramatic. It's a tragic movie about your life. How is boring. It's a manual on how to wash dishes. Anxiety cannot survive boredom. Anxiety cannot survive the mundane execution of simple tasks. If you focus on the how, you starve the drama. The why does not matter. The how saves your life. Execute the protocol. You must become ruthless with your own intellect. When you are in the loop, your intellect is not your friend. It is an accomplice to the crime. It is helping the anxiety justify its existence. Shut down the intellect. Turn on the mechanic. Check the gauges. Heart rate high, how to fix, cold water. Thoughts racing, how to fix, sprint. Body tense, how to fix, progressive relaxation. Be a machine. Machines don't have existential crises. They have maintenance schedules. Treat your mental health like a maintenance schedule. Not why am I broken, but how do I maintain the system? This shift is the beginning of true power. Because once you stop caring about the why, you become immune to the story. You don't care where the glitch came from. You only care that you have the tools to fix it. You are building a toolkit. You are filling it with hammers, wrenches, and screwdrivers. You are done with the crystal balls and the tarot cards. You are done guessing. You are ready to work. But there is one final hurdle. There is one thing that keeps pulling you back to the why. It is the intolerance of the unknown. You ask why because you want certainty. You want to know for sure that you are safe. You want a guarantee that the bad thing won't happen. I have bad news for you. There are no guarantees. And as long as you demand certainty, you will be a slave to fear. You have to learn to look the unknown in the face and refuse to blink.
Chapter 8. Accept the uncertainty or die trying. We have arrived at the hardest truth in this entire book. This is the chapter most of you will want to skip. This is the chapter where I stop being your coach and start being your wake-up call. We have talked about mechanics. We have talked about cold water, sprinting, and snapping your fingers. Those are tools. They are effective, but they are useless if you are still clinging to the one belief that causes 99% of your suffering. You believe that you are entitled to know the future. You believe that if you worry hard enough,
If you analyze long enough and if you replay the scenario enough times, you can guarantee your safety. You are addicted to certainty, and that addiction is killing you. Let me be crystal clear. Anxiety is not fear of danger. Anxiety is the refusal to accept the unknown. You are not scared that you will get fired. You are scared that you might get fired and you don't know for sure. You are not scared that the plane will crash. You are scared because you cannot legally guarantee that it won't. You are demanding a contract from the universe. You are standing in the middle of a chaotic, random, spinning planet demanding a signed piece of paper that says everything will be okay. You will not get hurt. You will not be embarrassed. The universe does not sign contracts. And because you can't get that signature, you panic, you spin, you try to control the uncontrollable. You think that by worrying, you are working on the problem. You are not working, you are suffering. I accept the unknown. I surrender the need to know. I am here now. You have to understand the mechanism of the trap. The more you demand certainty, the more unsafe you feel. Why? Because certainty is impossible. You are chasing a ghost. You are trying to grab smoke with your bare hands. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. That's the key. The safety you were looking for does not exist in the future. It exists in your ability to handle the present. But you are not in the present. You are living in a hypothetical future that hasn't happened yet, fighting dragons that aren't there. You have a choice. You have a choice. You can continue to demand a guarantee that never comes and spend the rest of your life shaking in the corner. Or you can look the void in the eye and shrug. This is the discipline of radical acceptance. It is not positive thinking. I am not telling you to say, everything will be fine. I don't know if everything will be fine. Neither do you. I am telling you to say, maybe it won't be fine, and I will handle it if it happens. Most people treat uncertainty like a poison. They think they need to vomit it up. They ask questions like, but what if she leaves me? But what if the test comes back positive? Here is the answer that kills the anxiety. Maybe. Maybe she will leave you. Maybe the test will be positive. Maybe you will lose the money. Say it. Say it out loud. Feel the terror of that admission. And then notice something profound. You are still breathing. The roof did not collapse. The ground did not open up. You admitted the worst-case scenario, and you are still standing. I accept the unknown. I surrender the need to know. I am here now. This is how you disarm the bomb. The anxiety gets its power from your resistance. It says something bad might happen, and you scream, no, it mustn't. I have to make sure it doesn't. That resistance creates the tension. That resistance creates the loop. When you surrender the need to know, you drop the rope. You stop playing tug of war with a monster. The monster says, you might fail. You say, maybe. I accept the unknown. The monster has nothing to push against. It falls over. It's not about safety. It's about discipline. It takes massive discipline to let go of the control you never had in the first place. You think your worry is a shield. You think it protects you. You think, if I stop worrying, I'll get blindsided. That is a lie. Your worry protects you from nothing. It only steals your peace. It drains your battery so that when a real problem actually arrives, you are too exhausted to deal with it. You don't need their permission. You don't need the permission of the fates to be calm. You can be calm while the plane shakes. You can be calm while the waiting room is silent. You do this by anchoring yourself in the only thing you actually know, right now. Look at your hands. Look at the room. Are you okay right now? Not 10 minutes from now, right now. Are you bleeding? Are you starving? Are you being attacked? No, you are sitting in a chair listening to an audiobook. I accept the unknown. I surrender the need to know. I am here now.
The mind wants to time travel. It wants to go to next week. It wants to go to next year. You must grab it by the collar and drag it back to the chair. We are not in next week. We are here. I do not know what happens next week, and I accept that. This is the mantra of the operator. The operator knows that he cannot control the weather. He can only fly the plane. If you are constantly looking at the radar trying to predict the turbulence 500 miles away, you are going to crash the plane right now. That's the key. Focus on the controls, not the clouds. Let's practice this with a real-world scenario. You are waiting for a text back from someone you care about. It's been 3 hours. The machine starts to spin. They are ignoring me. They are angry. It's over. You feel the urge to double text. You feel the urge to call. You feel the need for certainty. Stop. Execute the protocol. Snap. Take a breath. Say, I do not know why they haven't texted. Maybe they are busy. Maybe they are dead. Maybe they hate me. I accept the unknown. Feel the burn of that acceptance. It feels risky. It feels like you are leaving the door unlocked. Good. Leave the door unlocked. Surrender the need to fix it. Surrender the need to know right now. Go do the dishes. Go for a run. Let the uncertainty sit there next to you like an uninvited guest. Do not offer it a drink. Do not talk to it. Just let it sit there. Eventually, the text comes, or it doesn't. Either way, you survived the wait. I accept the unknown. I surrender the need to know. I am here now. You have to understand that this demand for certainty is a form of arrogance. You think you are God. You think you should know everything. You think you should be able to predict every outcome. You are not God. You are a biological organism with limited data. Resign from the position of general manager of the universe. It is not your job to keep the sun in the sky. It is not your job to control what other people think of you. It is not your job to ensure that nothing bad ever happens. Your job is to be here. Your job is to handle what is directly in front of you. When you give up the job of controlling the outcome, you get your energy back. You have been carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, terrified that if you shrug, it will fall. Let it fall. It won't break. Life is resilient. You are resilient. You have a choice. You can be a brittle control freak who shatters every time the plan changes, or you can be fluid. You can be water. You can accept the twists and turns. The control freak dies 1,000 deaths. The operator lives 1 life. I accept the unknown. I surrender the need to know. I am here now. I want you to use this phrase as a weapon. When the doctor says, we need to run more tests, I accept the unknown. When the rumors start at work, I surrender the need to know. When you lie in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering where your life is going, I am here now. Stop fighting the current. You are exhausting yourself swimming upstream. Turn around. Float. Let the river take you. You will be amazed at how much easier it is to breathe when you stop trying to strangle the future. This is the ultimate toughness. It is easy to be tough when you know you are going to win. It is true strength to stand tall when you don't know the outcome. Accept the uncertainty or die trying. Because if you don't accept it, you will die a spiritual death. You will die the death of 1,000 what-ifs. You will waste your life in a waiting room waiting for a guarantee that never comes. Get up, walk out of the waiting room, step into the void. You are the operator. You can handle the turbulence. You have now mastered the internal game. You have learned to override the glitch, sever the loop, and surrender to the void. You have cleaned your own house. But you do not live in a vacuum. You live in a world that is trying to infect you. You live in a world of 24-hour news cycles, toxic social media, and panicked people who want to drag you down into their chaos. You have secured the perimeter inside your head. Now you must secure the perimeter outside your head. You cannot stay clean if you keep swimming in a sewer. Chapter 9. The 24-Hour Firewall. You have spent the last 8 chapters learning how to fix the engine. You've learned how to manually override the glitch. You've learned to cool the system with water and burn the fuel with motion. You've learned to sit in the operator's chair. But there's a fatal flaw in your strategy. You are cleaning the engine, but you are still pouring sand into the fuel tank. You are doing the work to calm your mind, and then, 5 minutes later, you are picking up your phone and injecting pure, unadulterated poison directly into your eyeballs. You are sabotaging your own rescue mission. You cannot fix a machine while you are actively destroying it. We need to talk about input control. Your brain is a processing unit. It takes data in, processes it, and produces an output. If the output is anxiety, fear, and panic, you need to look at the data you are feeding it. Garbage in, garbage out. Panic in, panic out. You live in an information environment that is hostile to your mental health. The news, social media, and the algorithm are not designed to inform you. They are designed to trigger you. They are designed to hijack your amygdala to keep you scrolling. They monetize your fear. Every time you open that app, you are voluntarily stepping into a cage with a tiger, and then you wonder why your heart is racing. Protect the input, seal the breach, guard your mind. You need to establish a perimeter. You need a firewall. For the next 24 hours, and hopefully for the rest of your life, you are going to enact a strict embargo on toxic data. You are going to treat information like food. If it makes you sick, you don't eat it. Here's the reality. You are addicted to the doom. You seek out the bad news. You scroll until you find something that makes you angry or scared. Why? Because your anxiety wants validation. The glitch wants to prove that the world is dangerous, so it goes looking for evidence. You have a choice. You can be a consumer of chaos, or you can be a creator of order. You cannot be both. Here's the protocol. It is non-negotiable. Rule 1. Zero news. For 24 hours, you do not watch the news. You do not read the headlines. You do not check the trending tab. The world will survive without your supervision for 1 day. If a nuclear war starts, you will hear the sirens. You don't need to read the speculation about it on Twitter 3 hours before it happens. News is high cortisol content. It is designed to make you feel unsafe. When you are in a high anxiety state, reading the news is an act of self-harm. Rule 2. Zero doom scrolling. Delete the apps right now. If you can't delete them, move them to a folder on the last page of your phone and turn off all notifications. Social media is a factory of inadequacy. You look at other people's curated lives and you feel small. You look at the arguments in the comments section and you feel angry. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you inviting these people into your head? That's the key. You are inviting them in. You are opening the door. Rule 3. The vampire ban. We all have those people in our lives, the ones who only call to complain, the ones who dump their trauma on you, the ones who want to gossip and speculate about how bad everything is. For 24 hours, you are unavailable. Do not pick up the phone. Do not reply to the text. You are in a delicate state. You are rebooting your system. You cannot afford to carry someone else's baggage when you can barely carry your own. Protect the input. Seal the breach. Guard your mind. Think of your mind as an exclusive VIP club. You are the bouncer. Right now, you are a terrible bouncer. You are letting anyone in. You are letting the crazy guy off the street come in and scream at the customers. You are letting the toxic ex come in and smash the furniture. You are leaving the front door wide open. Stop it. Stand at the door. Check the ID of every thought and every piece of information trying to enter your brain. Is this helpful? No? Denied. Is this actionable? No? Denied. Is this going to make me stronger? No? Denied. You don't need their permission.
You don't need to be informed about every tragedy on Earth. You don't need to be polite to people who drain your energy. You have a duty to yourself first. It's not about ignorance. It's about discipline. People will tell you that you are burying your head in the sand. Let them talk. They are the ones panicking. You are the one getting your sanity back. There is a difference between being informed and being inundated. You can check the weather. You can check your bank account. That is data.
But reading an editorial about how the economy might collapse in 2025, that is not data. That is fear-mongering. That is sand in the gears. Protect the input. Seal the breach. Guard your mind. When you implement this firewall, you will feel withdrawal. You will reach for your phone automatically. You will feel a twitch in your fingers. You will feel a sudden spike of boredom. Good. Be bored. Boredom is the healing state of the brain. When you are bored, your baseline drops, your cortisol lowers, your brain starts to repair itself. Anxiety cannot survive in a vacuum of stimulation. It needs the noise to hide. When you remove the noise, you are forced to sit with yourself. You are forced to be present. Remember Chapter 8. If you fill every silent moment with a podcast, a video, or a headline, you never give your nervous system a chance to downregulate. You are keeping the engine revved at 5,000 RPM while the car is parked. Eventually, the engine blows. Seal the breach. Look at your environment. Is the TV on in the background? Turn it off. Are you getting push notifications from news apps? Turn them off. Are you following accounts that make you feel ugly, poor, or scared? Unfollow. This is a surgical procedure. Cut out the infection. You might think, it's just a little scroll. It's just 5 minutes. There is no such thing as just a little poison. One image can trigger a loop that lasts for 3 days. One headline can set off a cascade of what-ifs that ruins your week. Is it worth it? Is the dopamine hit worth the panic attack? You have a choice. You can be connected or you can be calm. Right now, you are too fragile to be both. Later, when you are a master operator, you can reintroduce these things slowly. You can handle the news because you will have the override switch ready. But right now, you are in rehab. You need a sterile environment. Protect the input. Seal the breach. Guard your mind. Imagine your attention is a spotlight. Whatever you shine that spotlight on grows. If you shine it on the chaos of the world, the chaos grows. If you shine it on your own breath, your own work, your own immediate reality, your power grows. You have limited battery life. Why are you spending 40% of your battery processing the problems of people you have never met? Why are you spending 30% of your battery angry at a stranger on the internet? You have 30% left for your life, your job, and your family. No wonder you are exhausted. No wonder you are anxious. You are running on empty. Reclaim your battery. Close the tabs. Put the phone in the other room. Sit in the silence. It will feel weird. It will feel quiet. That quiet is the sound of your nervous system finally exhaling. That quiet is the sound of healing. You are the bouncer. Do your job. If it isn't on the guest list, it doesn't get in. And the only things on the guest list today are calm, focus, action. Everything else stays on the sidewalk. Protect the input. Seal the breach. Guard your mind. You have built the firewall. You have stopped the influx of toxic data. The machine is running clean. The fuel is pure. The operator is in control. You have learned the tools. You have practiced the techniques. You have survived the withdrawal. But a tool is useless if you put it back in the box and forget about it. A diet doesn't work if you only do it for a week. This is not a fix. This is a new operating system. You don't just do this once. You do it forever. You don't just shut down the loop. You rewire the brain so the loop stops showing up. You are ready for the final instruction. You are ready to turn this from a tactic into a lifestyle.
Chapter 10. Permanent System Reboot. We have reached the end of the manual. You have the tools. You understand the glitch. You know how to snap the loop, sprint the adrenaline, and freeze the panic. But you are not done. In fact, you are just getting started. There is a danger in listening to a book like this. You listen, you nod your head, you feel a temporary surge of hope, and then you go back to your life. You treat this information like entertainment. You treat it like a theory. If you treat this like a theory, you will stay sick. This is not a theory. This is a blueprint for construction. and the construction site is your own brain. We need to talk about neuroplasticity. For a long time, scientists thought the adult brain was fixed. They thought that once you reached a certain age, your wiring was permanent. If you were an anxious person, you were doomed to be anxious forever. That was a lie. Your brain is plastic. It is malleable. It is constantly reshaping itself based on what you do. Every time you think a thought, a neural pathway lights up. Every time you repeat that thought, the pathway gets stronger, it gets faster, it gets more efficient. Right now, your anxiety loop is a superhighway. It is a 12-lane interstate paved with concrete. You have spent years driving down that road. You have driven down it 10,000 times. The moment a trigger hits, your brain automatically swerves onto the anxiety highway because it is the path of least resistance. It is easy. It is familiar. The override switch? That is a dirt path in the middle of a jungle. It is overgrown with vines. It is hard to find. It is bumpy. When you feel the panic and you choose to snap your fingers and breathe, you are forcing your car off the highway and into the jungle. It feels difficult. It feels unnatural. Your brain screams, "Go back to the highway. We know the highway." You have a choice. You can take the easy road to hell, or you can take the hard road to freedom. Rewire the network. Repetition is the law. New roads, new results. This is where the magic happens. It is not in the one-time success, it is in the 1,000-time repetition. Every time you use the override switch, you cut a vine. Every time you use the sprint protocol, you lay a stone. Every time you use the cold water, you pour cement. You are building a new highway. If you do this once, nothing changes. If you do this 10 times, you get a trail. But if you do this every single day for 30 days, if you do this 500 times, the dirt path becomes a paved road. The old anxiety highway begins to crack. Weeds start to grow through the concrete. The lights go out. Your brain stops choosing the old path because the new path has become the path of least resistance. That's the key. You are not just managing symptoms, you are physically changing the structure of your biological hardware. You are eroding the old self and constructing the new self. But this requires massive volume. You cannot go to the gym once, lift a weight, and ask, "Why aren't I strong yet?" And you cannot use the override switch once and ask, "Why am I still anxious?" It's not about capability. It's about discipline. It is about the discipline of repetition. You must fall in love with the boredom of the work. You must be willing to do the same thing over and over again until it becomes automatic. Rewire the network. Repetition is the law. New roads, new results. You need to understand that this is a lifestyle, not a band-aid. We are talking about a lifestyle of sovereignty. Sovereignty means you are the supreme authority within your own domain. You are the king or queen of your own nervous system. Most people live as serfs. They are slaves to their impulses. They are slaves to the weather, the news, and the opinions of others. They let the machine run the show. The operator lives differently. The operator knows that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. You will never be finished. The glitch will never completely disappear. The old wiring will always be there, buried deep, waiting for you to get lazy, waiting for you to stop guarding the gate. If you stop the protocols, the jungle grows back. If you stop the discipline, the anxiety returns.
This sounds exhausting to the victim. The victim says, "You mean I have to do this forever?" The operator says, "Good, I get to be in control forever." You don't need their permission to be powerful. You don't need the world to be safe for you to be strong. You are building a fortress that travels with you. It doesn't matter if you lose your job. It doesn't matter if the relationship ends. It doesn't matter if the market crashes. You have the override. You have the sprint. You have the breath. You have the cold. You are self-correcting. You are anti-fragile. Rewire the network. Repetition is the law. New roads, new results. Let's look at the timeline. Days 1 to 7. This is the resistance phase. Your brain will fight you. The anxiety might even get louder because it senses you are trying to kill it. It is the extinction burst. Do not quit. Stick to the protocol. Snap, breathe, sprint. Days 8 to 21. The noise quiets down. You start to see gaps in the clouds. You catch the loop earlier. You feel a sense of power returning. You realize, I am doing this. Days 21 to 60. The new road is paved. You are no longer trying to override, you're just doing it. It becomes your new default. You become a person who handles stress rather than a person who collapses under it. Day 60 and beyond. Sovereignty. You walk through the world differently. You have a quiet confidence that scares people because they can see that you are not ruled by fear. But you must start, and you must not stop. If you fail, and you will fail, do not turn it into a story. You will have a bad day. You will miss the 3-second window. You will spiral. So what? The old you would say, see, it doesn't work. I'm broken. The operator says, glitch detected, rebooting system. You get back on the horse immediately. You do not analyze the fall. You do not wallow in the mud. You stand up, brush off the dust, and execute the protocol. You have a choice. Every morning when you wake up, you are at a fork in the road. Left is the old way, the way of panic, fear, and victimhood. Right is the new way, the way of the operator. You have to make that turn every single day. Rewire the network. Repetition is the law. New roads, new results. You have the entire system now, from the diagnosis to the override, from the cold water to the sprinting, from the silence to the sovereignty. The book is closing, but your work is opening. The theory ends here. The practice begins now. You are standing at the edge of your old life, looking at the new one. The bridge is built. You just have to walk across it. Do not hesitate. Do not look down. Look straight ahead. You now possess the manual. You understand the mechanics. The days of being a victim to your own biology are over. You are no longer the passenger screaming in the back seat. You are the driver. You are the operator. Every time the chest tightens, you have a choice. Every time the thoughts race, you have a choice. Every time the loop begins, you have the switch. Do not wait for the fear to leave. It will not leave on its own. You must evict it. Do not negotiate with the glitch. Sever it. Starve the story. Feed the action. The next time you feel the heat rise, do not hesitate. Do not think. Pull the switch. Kill the loop and get back to work. This is your new operating system. Begin.